Welcome to Trauma-Informed Yoga with Kaila. This is time to relax and reconnect with your body. I hope you enjoy your practice. If you are loving these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hello, welcome to Trauma Yoga. Today we're going to work on opening through our solar plexus chakra, receiving that personal power, and stepping into the person we want to become. We're going to start in our hero pose today. So you can choose to go up onto your toes and sit up nice and tall like this. You could choose to sit up tall on a yoga block, or if it's too much on your ankles, you can sit up tall here. You could also choose to have a seat on your sit bones and sit in a comfortable position. Completely up to you. We're just going to start with bringing those shoulders up towards the ears and relaxing them back and down. Let's do that 2 more times. Bring them up towards the ears, relax them back and down. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, let it go. Okay, so let's start to bring our awareness to breath. So I just want you to just kind of find that sway, that rocking motion. And just starting to maybe soften your gaze or find something to focus on slightly in front of you, and just finding that little bit of wave-like motion, finding waves in the spine a little, bringing awareness into our breath, into our body. So we're not controlling anything. We're just allowing the waves to move through our spine the way that feels good, and bringing that awareness to the flow of breath in our body, being present here on our mats in this moment. All right, let's find some stillness. Doesn't that feel good? Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, exhale, audible. 1 more. As we begin to connect with breath, we're going to bring movement using our arms. Inhaling, arms up high, sweeping up towards the sky. Exhale, hands down through heart center. So we're using that breath to guide us in this flowing motion, taking nice long inhales and exhales through our nose. So I'm going to keep you here. Keep moving and flowing with that breath. And as you do that, I want you to bring some awareness to your solar plexus chakra. So that is located right at the base of our sternum here, right at our xiphoid process. So that's where our solar plexus chakra is. And that is the center of our being, right? And that is our personal power, our ability to step into our own. So as you're flowing and connecting with your breath, I'm going to read you a little passage here. So I want you to soften that gaze and really noticing your arms as they are heavy. You're sitting tall here on the earth. We turn our attention to the bright yellow flame located in your solar plexus, right beneath your rib cage, your epicenter. Visualize your inner sun and see it burst into a flame. What you see is your passion, your center, your inner fire. And as that fire grows, so does your power, like a lion. Your teeth grow sharp and bold, the fire within you spreads. Like an eagle, you begin to soar in the sky, high above the earth, that only a moment ago grounded you and held you captive. Visualize yourself breaking free. See yourself tearing your body and spreading your wings. Feel the power flood every pore as you glide through the sky. You are an eagle and a lion, all wrapped into one. Feel the mighty roar rise up within you. You are strong. On the count of 3, we're going to let out that mighty roar. 1, 2, 3. So that's a lion's pose, right? We come onto all fours and we open it up. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3. Rock forward. One more, just like that. I know it feels silly. 1, 2, 3. Coming back to center. Feeling that fire within you, that personal power that you have. You are truly amazing, just the way you are. You are both the eagle and the lion. I know you are. Let's begin to flow that breath side to side. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale. Noticing your big, long eagle wings as they sweep side to side. You are controlling your wings. You are controlling your breath. And you have the power to change the cadence. So how fast or how slow you move, you have the power to go how deep you want to go or how shallow. Again, this is your practice, and we're practicing being centered here on our mats. Let's do a couple more. Let's come back to that hero pose. It's tall, rolling those shoulders back into the spine, pulling that navel in towards our spine, sitting up tall. Noticing how grounded we are, the universe holding us up here. And let's shift our weight forward. Let's come onto all fours. And let's just find that lateral movement, rocking side to side. So as we're bringing that awareness to that inner lion, that inner eagle, that opening through that solar plexus chakra, I want you to be very aware of that region and how it feels within your body today. So we're going to begin to bring some more movement through that spine, just like we were practicing those waves in the spine at the beginning, right? Those snake-like movements. Let's take a nice deep inhale, dropping that navel down towards our mat, pulling that belly button up towards the spine, rolling the shoulders down and back, arching our back. We come into our happy cow. So big, happy, smiling faces here today in our happy cow. Exhaling, rolling back, pressing through all 5 fingertips, arching through that spine. Inhale, coming forward, big, happy, smiling faces in our happy cow here. Exhale, rounding, rolling back, pressing into our cat. So I'm going to let you go with your own happy cow and scared cat, right? Practicing those different emotions, the happy cow, big, happy, smiling face, the scared cat. We maybe scrunch our face a little bit. Feel the motion within your body, the waves, the rhythm in your spine. Let's do 2 more sets of each, okay? Big, happy, smiling faces. Even if we're not feeling overly happy, that's okay. We still get that endorphin rush from smiling. And when you're ready, let's press it back. Finding child's pose. Dropping that forehead down to our mat, allowing those elbows to rest. And if our forehead doesn't quite reach the mat, we can bring a block underneath that forehead, coming into a little bit of an elevated stance. You could also choose to come into puppy with your hips elevated, right? Coming down like this. We could also do fists for wrists, right? Stacking those fists underneath that forehead. Or we come down onto our wrists. So we're just grounding, finding that space that feels comfortable, that feels safe to you. Using that environment, right? It's our environment. So we're going to come into a little bit of a flow here. So let's reach our arms, extending them out nice and long and forward. Taking a nice deep inhale. Exhale, pull those hands back towards your knees, rising up nice and tall. Inhale, arms come up high towards the sky. Exhale, hands back down onto all fours. Come forward into our kneeling plank. Inhale. Exhale, baby crocodile. We're just going to hover here. We're not coming all the way down. Inhale. Exhale, press back up. Back into your child's pose. Let's do that again. Take a nice deep inhale. Breathing into the back ribs here. Exhale, pull those hands towards your knees. Inhale to rise. Growing tall. Exhale, hands plant back all the way into that kneeling plank. Inhale. Exhale, baby crocodile. We're just going to hold halfway, practicing that strength. Inhale. Exhale, pressing back all the way back into your child's. Let's do that one more time as a unit. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, pull those fingers back towards your knees. Inhale to rise, growing up nice and tall like a spring flower. Exhale, hands coming down and forward. Lean forward into that kneeling plank. Inhale here. Exhale, baby crocodile. One full round of breath. Inhale. Exhale, pressing back, reaching back, coming back into that extended child's pose. Let it go. So awesome. Okay, let's reach those arms forward. Inhale, coming down slowly, slowly onto our bellies. Rolling those shoulders back and down towards your spine. Forehead tucks down towards your mat. Shoulders roll back into your spine. Let's take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale up into our baby cobra. So snakes don't have arms. We're not pressing into our hand. We're just using that back strength to lift us. Keeping those toes down onto our mat, our tail nice and long. Using that back strength. Exhale, let it go. Let's drop our head off to one side. Allow those arms to fall heavy. So really bringing that awareness, bringing some awareness to our back ribs. Can you breathe into your back rib cage? Can you allow those shoulders to sink in? Relaxing. Can you allow those heels to fall out? Wonderful. Let's bring those hands back underneath our shoulders. Taking a nice deep inhale here. Pressing up into our hands, coming up into our king cobra, right? We're just going to rock and find that motion side to side, right? That lateral wave-like movement. Using our knees and our hands to support us. Our spine is long, our weight is forward into our hands. You can always use fists for wrists if it feels better to you. Finding that rocking motion through your spine. You're strong like a lion. We're brave like the eagle. Courageous like both. Finding that motion. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, slowly lower back down. Let's drop our head off to the opposite side this time. Allow those ears, the other ear to rest. Allow those or shoulders to roll down and in, your hands to fall heavy. Heels roll out to the side. So I thought we'd come into quite a bit of back bends today, because the thing with back bends is they tend to open up quite a bit through that front side body and strengthen through the back body. And that's really what opening through that solar plexus chakra is, right? We open through the front side of the body, allowing that chakra to shine, allowing us to shine that inner light. So let's take our left hand, bringing it around in front. I'm going to come into supported bow pose. We're going to flex that right foot. So pulling the toes down towards your knee, bending your knee. Now, we're going to reach back and grab our ankle. If your ankle isn't available to you, you could use a block or a strap, or you could just continue here with that reaching motion. This is great. Again, like I said, it's about the back bend. It's about opening through that solar plexus. So we're coming into half bow. Whatever variation feels good. If you've got that ankle, you're going to grab on and you're going to kick up and back. Let's breathe. Kick up, kick back, reaching for that ankle, rolling that shoulder blade down and back. Notice what happens to your breath here. Noticing, are you clenching your jaw? Can you release your jaw? Does your brow begin to furrow? Exhale, let it go. Let's drop our ear off to one side. Allow ourselves to rest in this prone position, this face down position, right? This position of safety and comfortable place. It's also so great for our neck to get this style of movement, right? All right, let's go into half bow on the other side. Bring that right hand in front of you, bending that left knee, reaching back towards that left ankle. Again, same thing here. You could use a strap around your ankle, holding here, or if you can't quite reach in, you don't have a strap, you just continue reaching back, using the weight in that front arm to create a back bend. Your choice here. If you've got the ankle, we're reaching back for that ankle, pressing into our right hand. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, kick up and back, flexing that foot, pulling the toes back towards the knee, reaching up, back. Same thing here, noticing those tension patterns as they begin to build. Are you clenching your jaw? Are you rolling that shoulder up towards the ear? Can you drop it down away from your ear? Can you lift up and back a little further? Can you relax that space between your eyebrows? Can you release your hand as it's pressing on the ground here? And slowly relax back and down. Let's drop our ear off to the other side. So a large part of trauma yoga is connecting with self, connecting with body, and establishing what are those tension patterns that we have in our bodies, right? Learning our bodies and learning from ourselves here. We take ourselves into these positions that cause very minor stress, but we learn, how am I dealing with the stress here in this space on this yoga mat? And we take that learning opportunity and we transfer it into real world learning. Noticing when you are having a stressful time, how can I take this stressful time and release the tension? How can I change the way I feel? Let's bring our hands back underneath the shoulders, pressing back up. Let's come back into our child's pose. Reaching. Allow those forearms to relax. Let's connect with that breath again. Maybe you roll your shoulders in your child's pose here. Noticing, am I holding tension in my upper back? Maybe you sway your hips in your child's pose. Can I relax my hips? Can I find that wave-like motion in my spine, rolling my shoulders and rocking my hips? There's different ways that we can find those ocean-like waves, right? And I like to use the ocean here as our analogy because water, there's something about it that is so purifying that just makes us feel good. So even if you're like me and you don't quite like going in the ocean, there's something just so serene about being by the ocean, right? Listening to those waves as they crash against the shoreline, allowing them to wash away our fears, to wash away our worries, allowing them to connect us back into this body, into this being, into this universe, allowing those waves to wash over us and just help us understand that we are perfectly imperfect just the way we are. We are meant to be this way. And we are beautiful souls. We have that inner courage, that inner strength, that ability to change, to transform, to go through a full metamorphosis all on our own because we are unique. We are special. Let's come back up onto all fours. Let's kick our right leg out behind us. Begin to find some tension patterns. We're going to lift and lower that leg. So imagine this is your lion tail, right? And it's kind of wagging behind you. So I want you to notice, are you rocking your hips side to side? Or can you just lift and lower that leg, utilizing that glute strength, that strength through your backside, right? Can you keep that belly button tucked up and in? Now noticing, where are you placing weight on your hands? Is your weight on, are you rolling in on your wrists? Are you rolling out on your wrists? Is your weight on 2 fingers? Is it on all 5 fingers? Can you find weight through that pointer finger and thumb and pinky? Can you plant through all 3 and allow the ring finger and middle finger to support you in this process? Let's do one more. Keep it lifted. Noticing the tension in that glute. And as you notice that tension in the glute, I want you to notice, is it extending anywhere else? Like, I know for me, I can feel it pulling on my right shoulder, right? I've got my right leg back and I can feel that pull on my right shoulder. So let's see if by extending that left arm out, can I reduce the pull on my right shoulder? Maybe that means I have to lower my leg slightly. How do I do it to try and find a different motion here? Can you point and flex your ankle? Wiggle your fingers, right? Finding different ways to connect with our body to that felt sense. Okay, let's find that stillness for just a moment. And we're going to begin to wag our tail, right? So wagging our tail side to side. We're a happy lion. Can you find that ocean-like movement in the spine as we wag our tail? And it's okay if having both opposite arm and opposite leg raised, if it's too much, go back to 1. Drop, come back up. You have that yogi determination inside of you, that yogi strength. So listen to your body, meet yourself with where you're at today. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Come back. Whew. Shake it out. Whew. I'm going to shake out that right wrist, eh? Let out all that tension. Okay. Let's find that differentiation. Let's take that left leg behind us. And again, let's lift and lower. So we are connecting to the movement. Do you notice, is this movement any different on this side than it was on the last side? Can you roll those shoulders down and back? Can you extend that heart center forward? Can you just lift and lower using that glute? Or are you rolling through your hips? Can you find your breath? Noticing the tension pattern that builds here. Are you feeling the pulling on the same shoulder? Maybe you feel pulling into that low back. Where do I need support? How can I make myself comfortable in the uncomfortable. So for me, making myself comfortable in the uncomfortable means finding my breath. Drawing that breath into my solar plexus, into that center. Good, let's hold. Reaching the opposite arm forward. So for me, it's left leg back, right arm forward. Point and flex the ankle. Open and close the hand, releasing that tension pattern. Happy smiling faces, not forgetting to smile, dropping that shoulder down and back into our spine. Staying lifted, elevated, grounded. And let's begin to shake that lion tail. Side to side, we are happy, happy lions. So at the very beginning of our practice, we did a little bit of lion's breath, right? It felt kind of funny with our roar, opening our mouth, extending that tongue out nice and long. There's a lot of science that goes into that. There's a lot of science that says that the way in which your tongue extends like that, it really opens up through the back of your throat, allowing that vagus nerve to be stimulated by the sound of the roar. You've got it. 2 more. 1 more. Let it down. Press it back. Let's go into a child's pose. Let it go. You did amazing. Talk about the support and strength of their low back and glutes that took. Let's take a moment here and just practice some gratitude. Allowing yourselves to notice the space in our solar plexus, the space in our body that we can practice bringing some gratitude to that center of our being. What are you grateful for? Are you grateful for an able body? Are you grateful for showing up on your yoga mat, for your practice? Are you grateful that you didn't give up, that you just kept trying with each posture, even if it doesn't look the way you think it should look or feel the way you think it should feel? You didn't give up. You kept trying, and you met your body with where you're at today. Sometimes we need to practice that gratitude for just meeting ourselves where we're at today and letting go of any expectations that maybe we thought we should do this or it should be this way. We shouldn't be shoulding all over ourselves, right? No more shoulding. Just allow yourself to simply be, to be present in the moment, and to experience whatever it is that we need to experience. Let's inhale forward onto all fours. We're going to turn sideways on our mat. We're going to bring those knees out nice and long. So knees are wide, we're turning sideways on our mat so that we have that support. If you want extra support for your knees, you can fold your mat over a couple times, tucking it under, giving yourself a little extra cushion. We're gonna come into frog pose here. Now there's a couple different variations of frog, so you could choose to stay up tall here in our frog. We're really working on opening through our hips and our inner thighs here. For me, I like to come into more of a restorative style frog, so I like to lean forward. So again, this is your practice, and I want you to feel safe and comfortable in any position that we do. So you go to where you're feeling comfortable today. If you've got a pillow, a yoga block, a bolster, anything like that, you could bring it down underneath your forehead. You can do stacked wrists, stacked fists. So I'll show you where we're going from here. So we're going to come down and forward onto our elbows, stacking fists or wrists. I like wrists. And you can choose where you want to sit in your frog. So I like to sit slightly back. Just feels better for my hips, but maybe you're a person that likes to walk a little bit more forward, coming down and forward a little bit more. Completely up to you. One of my favorite ways to do this is by allowing that yoga block to come underneath my forehead. Just feels nice. And let's bring some awareness to our breath, and let's come into our 3-part breath, that deep belly breathing. So we're going to bring some awareness, inhaling through our nose, inhaling into our chest, our ribs expand, our belly expands nice and big. Let's see if we can make it nice, big, 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 big. And then as we exhale, the belly pulls back into our spine. Our ribs tighten in closer. Our chest comes in a little bit. And we exhale through our nose. Inhale, feeling that breath, that movement through the body. And exhaling, letting that go. So let's keep being the observer of our breath. Rather than trying to completely control our breath, let's just observe the flow of it. What does it feel like in our body? Can you breathe into your heart space? Can you breathe into that solar plexus, that personal power space? Can you visualize that inner lion inside of you, that fire inside of you, that drive, that determination and courage and strength that just lives in each one of us? Can you drop those shoulders down away from your ears? And let's slowly release that forehead. If you had a block, you can release the block. Pressing back up onto our hands. Bringing those knees back underneath our body. We'll turn sideways, curling our toes under. Let's press it back into a downward facing dog. And you can go ahead and walk that dog out. You can wag your doggy tail. If down dog is not available to you, you can always take puppy. So just like I showed you at the beginning of our practice, puppy is just child's pose with your bum in the air, essentially. And you can always find that movement through the hips. So your choice, down dog or puppy, find that motion that is uniquely yours. Let that inner thigh stretch go. Let's lift that right leg up high towards the sky. Step it on through, up towards those hands. So you might have to heel toe a little bit. Let's step our left foot in just slightly. Toes plant onto our mat. Let's walk our hands up that front knee and we'll find warrior one here. So nice deep bend through that front knee. Heels planted back. Toes are slightly pointed out on a 45 here, and we're standing tall. So there's lots of arm options that you can do in your warrior one. You could take those arms out nice and wide in a chest expansion. You can have hands at heart center, or maybe you want to just simply feel powerful, right? Hands on the hips in that superhero powerful pose. Let's find that breath. Find that space within our body. And so from our warrior one, we are going to actually come into our flying crow is what I'm going to call it. It's a flying bird, or I should call it flying eagle. Let's call it flying eagle. It's flying bird. So inhale, open those big bird wings nice and wide. Exhale, crouching down and in. Giving yourself a hug. Inhale, stepping back with that left leg, open nice and wide. Exhale, crouching down and in. Inhale, flying like an eagle. You've got this. Use your own breath to guide you in and out of your eagle flight here. From the side. So use the space in your room, right? So often we are told that we need to fit into a certain little space, to fit into a certain mold, a certain bubble. I want you to take this opportunity to take up as much space as you want to take up in the room. Make it big, make it small. Your choice, your practice. Let's take up space for ourselves for once. Let's do one more big eagle fly. Let's step it back one more time. Let's find that warrior one. Recenter ourselves. You've got it. Let's heel toe our left foot back and open, parallel with the back edge of our mat. We find that warrior two lunge. We're just going to stand tall here in our warrior two. Imagine that bright light, that flame coming from that solar plexus as we're tall here in that warrior two. Allow that flame to shine. And with our flame shining, we're just going to move our arms and really take up space in that room, right? We're flowing side to front. Use your breath to guide you. Take up room. Take up whatever room you want. Let's do a couple more. Finding that motion. Good, let's find stillness. So knowing and being aware that we can find motion and find stillness and that we have the power to choose when we go and choose when we stop. Let's inhale our front arm so our right arm comes up high towards the sky. We find reverse warrior. Opening up through that right side body. We lift up nice and tall. Looking up at that hand if it's available to our necks here today. Dropping that shoulder down into our spine. Feeling that opening through that right side body. Our weight is not on that left hand. It's just reaching down towards the back of our knee. Just feeling strong and powerful here in our reverse warrior. Looking up at the sky. We are the surveyors of the eagles. We have the power to fly. Inhale back into our warrior two. Exhale our arms all the way down, cartwheeling them to the mat. Let's walk our hands around to that long edge of our mat, turning both toes forward. We come into our forward fold, our standing forward fold, straddle. So if our hands are not quite touching the mat, you can take your feet wider. You could also use some blocks here to grab onto. We're just going to first begin to start just allowing our upper body to hang, allowing those sit bones to rise up high towards the sky. Allow ourselves to find the calm, right? To find the space that brings us back to our present, to our breath. It's so important to reconnect with our breath, even in the chaos, right? Sometimes it feels a little chaotic, and we know that we can bring ourselves back to our breath, to feel in control, to notice our power, to notice our being, to check in with ourselves and notice how we're feeling and those tension patterns within the body. In this inversion posture, we send that rich oxygenated blood flowing through our spinal cord, flowing into our brain, allowing ourselves to feel some feel-good emotions, to really begin to wake up the cognitivity within our brains, to help ourselves think a little clearer, a little better. Let's walk our hands back around that right foot, turning that right foot forward. Let's plant our hands, bending through our right knee, step our right foot back. We find downward facing dog. Option here, let's wag that tail, finding that wave-like movement through the spine. Or option to walk out your dog. Again, this is your practice. Let's take that left leg up high towards the sky. Let's step it on through, heel toeing it forward. Let's step our right foot in just slightly, finding that railroad track, bending through that left knee. Let's walk our hands up the left leg. We find warrior one on that left side. So what we do to one side, we must do to the other, right? So any of those hand options that resonated with you for the first time that we came into this warrior one. Allowing that solar plexus chakra to shine, that flame inside of you to shine. Noticing that yellow all surrounding your being, that power. Let's begin to fly, right? Our flying eagle. Taking a nice deep inhale, opening your wings. Exhale, crouching down and forward. Inhale, expand those wings. So again, same idea as we did last time, right? We're taking up space, flowing with our own breath, flowing with our own movement, paying attention to ourselves here, paying attention to our breath, our body, seeing which way it feels good to circle your wings. Are you a flapper? Do you go forward and back, right? Or are you more of a swooper? Do you swoop up and around? There's different ways to play around with this. Take up the space. Allow yourself to step in different directions. Really giving yourself those hugs as you come down and in, right? We all need hugs. We all need love. And the most important kind of love is self-love. Self-love is so powerful. We always look for that love externally, but what we don't realize is that we need that love internally, right? And we get to practice that being here right now. Let's do 2 more. Let's step that right foot back, finding that warrior one again. Find your breath. Take a couple deep breaths here, whatever hand option you want. Recenter yourself. Let's heel toe that right foot back and open. Parallel with the back edge of your mat, opening up those arms wall to wall. We find that warrior two, right? And that solar plexus chakra is shining bright out for us. From here, we're going to take that nice inhales and exhales. We're just going to begin to flow side to side. Using your own movement, we're finding that wave motion through the spine, through our arms. Twisting, turning. You've got it. Let's do 1 more. Find that stillness, reach those arms wall to wall. Drop those shoulders back and down. Inhale, left arm up high towards the sky. Right arm drops down on the back side of our leg. We open up through that left side body, finding our reverse warrior. Again, if it's available to us, we take that neck to look up towards our hand. What is your hand pointing at, right? So in native cultures, they say that it is bad luck to point at the eagle, right? To take that pointer finger and point it at the eagle. So what they often do is they'll point with a hand, you see. We'll look up at the eagle. So I want you to imagine that eagle flying above you, supporting you, guiding you, reminding you that you are powerful and strong to take on your own journey, your own unique path, and that you are supported and loved. Exhale, bring those arms back to our warrior two. Let's cartwheel all the way down to the mat. Walking our hands along that long edge. Both feet turn forward. We rise those sit bones up high towards the sky, dropping our hands down onto the mat. We allow that neck to hang, just like we did the first time. Now this time that we're in our standing straddle, We're going to take that left arm and reach it way across our mat. So planting it towards that right foot. And I want you to notice that pull all through that left side body. You can bend that right knee if it feels good to you. Completely up to you. Your body, your stretch, your posture. But when we get this cross-sectional movement, this movement from one side to the other side, it really begins to connect those brain synapses, right? It really begins to connect both the left and right brain, that creativity, and that analytical part of our brain. The ability to connect both sides allows our thinking power to become more bold, more clear. Good, let's sweep slowly, 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 drawing that left arm back underneath our bodies. We move so fast in our lives, so it's weird or awkward sometimes to move slow, right? Let's take that right arm and reach it out towards that left side, planting that hand. You have that option to bend the left knee. You can rise and fall. You can choose to just stay tall. Completely up to you. Noticing the opening through the back side of that right arm. Let's go slow. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Drawing that hand back to center as slowly as you possibly can. Good. Let's take a nice deep bend through the knees, turning those heels in, bringing your hands up to prayer squat position. Inhale, lifting up nice and tall, rising up, 5-pointed star. Exhale down into our prayer squat. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, rising tall, reaching up, 5-pointed star. We're in the night sky. Exhale, sinking down into our prayer squat. 1 more. Exhale. Good job. Okay. From our prayer squat, let's plant our hands back and down. Allow those sit bones to rise. Walk our hands back around that left leg. Take a nice deep bend through your knees. Let's step it back. Downward facing dog. Shake out that tail. Let's allow our knees to drop. Dropping back and down into our child's pose or puppy. Grounding back down into the earth. Noticing our thought pattern. What thoughts are coming through your mind? Are you present here on this mat in your body? Are you thinking about yesterday, today, tomorrow? The past, the present, the future? And just for this moment, I just want you to bring that awareness into yourself, into that space between your eyebrows where nothing else matters. Coming back up, pressing onto our hands. We rise back into that hero pose position. Now we're going to come in to camel posture. So in camel today, we're going to really use that personal power. So often camel is this big posture where we're reaching back for our heels. But in our trauma yogas, we like to take it a little less deep, so to speak. So let's come up onto our knees, making sure that our knees are stacked underneath our hip bones. We're going to, if it feels good to you, you can plant through your toes or you can have them flat, completely up to you. So we're going to engage our sit bone or our glutes here, pressing our sit bones forward. So our sit bones are coming over our knees. Our hands are going to come thumb onto our sternum, lifting that pinky finger up towards the sky, dropping those shoulder blades back and down, pulling that navel in toward your spine, engaging those glutes, pressing those hips forward. We allow just a back bend here into our supported camel posture, really noticing that fire inside of you, the opening through the solar plexus chakra. Noticing that yellow color as it builds. That star-like hand, star-like color that surrounds your being, that really exudes your personal power, that strength, courage, uniqueness inside you. You've got this. Taking one more deep inhale here. Exhale, sinking our sit bones down and back. Reach it down, coming into your child's pose. So check in with your body. Did you notice? Did your heart rate rise? How did that feel to you? Often camel can be one of those postures that feels very vulnerable, that feels very opening. I know when I very first started my yoga practice, I used to get nauseous every time I went into camel, that I would just opt to not do it. I would rather be in my child's pose than feel nauseous in camel. And that's okay. Allowing yourself that grace, that ability to know that this isn't the posture for me right now, and that's okay. We all need to meet ourselves with where we're at, and maybe eventually it will become your posture, your favorite posture. You never know. But if you don't try and you don't let go of any expectations or allow yourself the grace to not do something that doesn't feel good, then how are you to ever find out what does? All I ask is that you try, you give it a shot, and if it doesn't work for you, that's cool. And each time you just try. That's all I ever ask. Let's drop those sit bones off to one side. Swing those legs around, bringing those feet together. Let's find that butterfly's position. We're going to pretend our knees are those eagle wings. So we are flapping our wings. Just allow them to flap, 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 flap. We're soaring through the air here. Connecting to soft. I'm going to just glide here. So let's allow those wings to fall open by engaging our glutes. No more motion here. We're squeezing our glutes, allowing those knees to pull open. Let's take our hands around behind us. Allow that chest to open up high towards the sky. Pressing that chest forward. So engaging those glutes, pulling those knees open. Allowing that chest to open, shoulders roll down and back, pressing into our hands. Feeling tall, powerful. Let's bring those knees back up towards each other. We're going to extend those legs out nice and long, keeping those hands behind us. Lifting that chest up high towards the sky. We come down onto our elbows. So this here is fish pose, right? We can plant those palms of our hands down into our mat. I like to wiggle them underneath my bum, but it's completely up to you. Allowing that chest to rise up high towards the sky. Shoulders rolling back and down. Pointing that fishtail, those toes point down. So you can keep your chin tucked here. You could choose to bring your head back and down. It's completely up to you. Really finding that back bend, that unique power within you, that yogi determination. And allow those arms to fall, knees curling in towards our chest, hands coming on to our knees. Let's find that rocking motion side to side. We're going to take our legs up nice and long, feet elevated, flexing our feet, so pulling those toes back towards our body. Our hands fall down towards our sides. Come into legs up a wall. Allow those shoulders to roll back and down into your spine. And while we hold our legs up a wall here, I want you to notice tension within your body. Do you feel tension in your jaw? Can you release it? Do you feel tension in the shoulders? Do they roll in? Can you roll them back and out? Can you find space? However it needs to be within your body. Noticing the gripping coming from your abdomen and how our core, our center, really supports us, really allows us to come into this posture. Noticing the muscles in your legs as they begin to rock or shake. That's okay. We're strong. We can do this. Finding that breath. Finding that calm in the storm, right? As we get all that biofeedback from our legs or our back or our core, as everything's beginning to really fire here, I want you to find that breath, find that calm in your storm. And if you're feeling supported, you can choose to bring a hand to your forehead and a hand to your solar plexus and see if you can breathe into both spaces. Can you breathe into that forehead? Can you breathe into your solar plexus? Can you feel the rhythm of the breath? Let's bend our knees, plant our feet down onto our mat, and keep breathing. Can you find that rhythm in your breath? Let's switch hands. Take the opposite hand, place it on the solar plexus, and the other hand comes up to that forehead. Let's try and breathe. Can you draw a line from each thumb to each thumb? Can you draw that line with your breath from your pinky finger to your pinky finger? Can you draw the line from your ring finger to your other ring finger? Can you draw the line from your middle finger to your other middle finger with your breath? Can you draw the line from your pointer finger to your other pointer finger using your breath? Let's allow our hands to fall by our sides. If it feels good here, you can choose to allow those knees to knock in on each other. You could also choose to let those legs come out nice and long as we come into final Savasana. Taking the opportunity to allow your body to relax however it needs to be. And to allow your body to take up as much space as it needs to be. This is your Savasana, right? You can take up that space. And as we come into our Savasana, we soften our gaze. Maybe that means closing our eyes, or maybe that means finding a point of focus for ourselves. And I want you to notice your limbs growing heavy. And drawing a line from each toe to your solar plexus, from each finger to your solar plexus, from the top of your head straight down into your solar plexus, right in that rib cage. I want you to pay attention to the yellow ball of energy located there, that swirly ball of energy that is your inner core, your inner strength, your inner lion, your inner eagle, and allow them to roar and allow them to soar. Allow that feeling of courage and strength, the courage and strength and support, the freedom the ability to know that you have the freedom to be uniquely you, to be yourself, to allow that power within you to shine, shining your bright, unique light, because you are perfectly imperfect and you are loved, guided, and supported. Giving yourself a nice, big, happy, smiling, goofy face here as we allow that bright yellow light to shine. Even if we're not feeling overly happy, bringing a big smile to our faces, taking some inhales and exhales in and out of our nose. Let's roll onto one side. And just take a moment here. Allow yourself to be. This side posture is often very supportive, very grounding. And slowly, slowly making our way up to an easy seated position near the top of our mat. I am so grateful for sharing this practice with you and for you sharing your practice with me. The light in me bows and honors the light in you. Namaste.